This is SteamWorld Dig. We're here on Xbox Series X. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. So if you're not familiar with the SteamWorld series, it's essentially like a bit of a Metroidvania-like game where you are attempting to dig downwards in order to gather materials, in order to get better stuff, in order to continue digging further. They're really quite neat games. I have more experience with the second one, but I've played a little bit of this original game as well. So what are we getting here? 1080p, 60 FPS, and yeah, it's just kind of an easy-going, cozy sort of, well, I wouldn't say cozy, it can get a little crazy, sort of building game, where you are attempting to mine out materials, you're trying not to die along the way, and yeah, it's kind of a neat experience in that regard as you're going about exploring, gathering supplies, and just kind of making your way through this place. There are some other challenges and stuff that pop up along the world, and along the way. There's a rich world of like steampunk type characters and robots and stuff, and like there's a lot going on in this. There's remnants of society. There's randomized kind of worlds, and it's really quite cool. And this is the original entry, so it's one that has a bit of history to it. I actually can't believe I didn't grab those gems fast enough. I was not thinking correctly there. So, like, yeah, there is actually a fair bit of history to these games, and they've made some really cool, like, spin-offs and stuff over the years, too, which is really quite interesting. Like, if you're not, you know, kind of familiar with the series, it's like, you know, they've improved and changed quite a bit over the years in terms of, like, what you can do and how the series has changed, and there's all these, like, spin-offs and stuff, and it's become quite a series. It really genuinely has. I think, yeah, it's quite a wondrous sort of thing. Like, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot to see. There's a lot to do in these games, and you can just kind of, like, you could play a lot of it, really, is what it is. You can find a lot of stuff to do in these games, and you can improve a lot of your stuff, too, as you go about exploring and that. It's kind of like a little bit, I guess you would say a little bit like Dig Dug, to a degree. Like, not exactly, but sort of in that line, but they do their own thing with it. And I'm honestly surprised that there's not more kind of games like this, if that makes sense. Like, I'm really genuinely shocked that we haven't seen other games where it's like, hey, you know, you can carve out the environment, you can break things, and, you know, kind of dig and everything like that. I actually went way further than I had initially thought here. That's really quite interesting. But yeah, it's just this, like, delightfully charming time. If you find this interesting, too, I highly recommend taking a look at the second one as well. Like, I really do genuinely love SteamWorld Dig 2 as well. That game is quite delightful. And there's even more kind of like challenges and stuff to it as well, like boss type stuff and that. We even went this way. Oh, I really explored. Didn't collect very many materials, I guess, along the way. I underestimated how much of this I actually had done. But you go through all the different areas exploring. Oh no, could we get the gems? No, I don't have enough tough enough axe. Maybe that's what it was, is I was trying to get enough points to get the tougher axe going on here. But yeah, it's just really quite a unique series, and there's like a lot of heart and character to this too. And you know, there's steampunk robots, but they've got like a lot going on, and there's like a whole society and everything, and it really is quite an interesting experience and world. And you know, the whole steampunk kind of thing is a lot of fun to deal with and explore and see. And yeah, I think you just have like a really good time playing these games, and it's great to have an excuse to sit here and actually highlight these titles, because I think they're a lot of fun. Like, I think I remember first seeing the sequel back at like PAX on like a Switch or something like that. I met with I don't know, I think it was the CEO of the company, like literally the CEO of the company, and we were just like in a corridor at PAX West, which is in Seattle, and he just kind of was showing me you know, SteamWorld Build 2. And I remember it being so delightful. I was like, oh, this is a big, you know, like a big upgrade over everything. I love it. And yeah, that's kind of just the element here I'm seeing. It's just like, yeah, this is still a lot of fun to play, as you kind of like figure, like, you're free to kind of go however you want, right? You have that freedom to kind of explore however, but you have to carve out the path that makes the most sense for what you're doing and your journey. Wow, I actually really went a lot further than I had anticipated. I forgot how far I had actually journeyed in this place. Look how far I went. It just keeps like going and going. I think that's kind of fun, is it's just this like long-going adventure of like cutting through all these areas. But no, the big thing is like you really are making your own choices in this world. Like you, like it's to a degree, it's like linear, right? Like you need to get down to the bottom. You have a set area you can do so, but the way you carve and make your paths and your terrain along the way, it is entirely up to you and your gameplay decisions. Is this like a boss fight area? This is a boss fight area. Oh no, this is the cybernetic place. And then it becomes kind of crazier and crazier the further along you go, and the crazier things you see, and there's like there's like a deep lore kind of thing going on in this game, in this series, and that's the big thing. Is I hope people kind of take a look at these games and maybe fall in love with like the universe of it, because if you're not familiar with the SteamWorld Dig games, as I said, there's so many different spin-offs that do so many different types of different genres and stuff, and that in itself is really quite fascinating, because you can do all these kinds of like different types of games, and there's ones where you're like building and stuff, and yeah, it's so genuinely interesting and cool. Where am I going here? I think this way actually takes me down to the vents or something. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's all this cool stuff, and all these minerals, and all these things to gather, and all these like puzzles to explore along the way. You really do get to see some crazy stuff. I still went further? You gotta be kidding me. How far did I go? Wow, great game.